Hello everybody, I've got something really cool to show you today. It is about the automatic PDF filler process and how you can set it up yourself. Okay, so just to be clear on this, the whole idea is to have a landing page of some sort. This can be your website and a survey or a form on it that when it is filled out, when people go through that form or your agents fill out this form while they're on a call with somebody and they go through the whole thing, it ends up filling out on the back end, automatically filling out a PDF file of your choosing and sending it to an inbox like your team email or your personal inbox. It doesn't matter. That is completely up to you. So I've just got these open as examples. These can be totally different in your case, obviously, but this is the idea. They fill out a survey and a PDF file gets filled out on the back end and sent to your inbox. Now, we need three things in order to set this up. The first one is Automate, second one is pdffiller.com, and third one is Zapier. So once we have those, we can start with our PDF file. We can start turning it into a survey. So depending on which fields you actually need to be filled out, which fields you want to be on the survey, this is what you need to create as custom fields in your account. So what do I mean by this? Let's say that we want to fill out this document with a form of some sort, right? So the first thing we need to do is go to our Automate account. I've just made an example account here in Automate and create a survey. Let me just zoom in a bit. So you go to sites. In most cases, it will be a survey and not a form because surveys can be longer. Surveys can have logic-based questions inside of them. So in general, surveys are better, unless you're taking just some sample information from the person, like their name, phone, email. Anyway, so what we need to do is click on Add Survey, and once we have our survey, we can first name it. So let's name it example PDF filler process. Okay. Now what we need to do is, for example, let's say we won't do it for the whole document because that is going to take hours. This is a long PDF file. But let's say we'll fill out this field, the agency name. We'll fill out the name of the applicant, the name of the person filling out the form. And let's say one of these fields, we can also do the phone actually, so that we have some contact information after all. And one field that is a sort of a box that needs to be checked, because these are slightly different. I'll show you in a second. But basically what we need to do is figure out which fields we want to be filled out automatically and put them into an automate form. Survey, sorry. So first thing, we need the full name of the applicant. We can do the first name and last name, or the full name field. And we also said we'll add the phone. And this field here, have permits already been obtained. We'll need to create this one. So what we do is go to custom fields and we can search for it in case something like this containing permits may already exist and we can use it, but as you can see, there isn't anything. In here you can see all of your custom fields, and if you can't find anything you can use, you simply add a new one. So this custom field will be a checkbox, let's say, or radius select actually. We can even do a drop down single. The important thing is not to do drop down multiple or checkbox, because in this case they'll be able to select multiple options. So in here it's not previewing it the right way, but basically they can select both yes and no, and we don't want that. We either want it to be a drop down single or radius select. So let's go with radius select. Next, name our field, and we need to put it into one of our folders here. So I'll put it into the general info folder. The options are yes and no. And we can save this. Now we need to wait for the field to be added. There we go, it's already here, and just drag it in. So we have our form here. We don't need to create a field for the agency name because that is already in the system. We can just send the information that is the name of the account, basically. Unless you want it to be different, then you can add a custom field for it, and people can fill it out. Okay, so next thing that we need to do is grab our PDF file and actually put it into PDF Filler. So I've created a new folder into my Documents tab. I just called it Tutorial, and in here I can just drag my file in. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, so let me click on Add New, and I believe I can drag it in now. Let's try that. Okay, there we go. Okay, upload, and we have our file in here. So next thing we can do is, and I suggest you name these folders with the actual PDF file name so that you can keep your things organized. And we'll do the same in Zapier. Basically, we'll create a new folder here, and we can name it example PDF process. Okay. So we have our survey in Automate. Now we need an automation to send this information, because if we preview our survey, so save survey and then integrate. So this is our survey currently, and if we fill it out, it's going to create a contact in our Automate account, but we also need an automation to actually send it to these two services, Zapier and PDF Filler, so that it is filled out. So what we need to do is go to Automations, create a new workflow, start from scratch, continue, and we can name it new PDF survey submitted. Okay, I'll turn on allow multiple. It is always good practice to turn this setting on. Well, almost always. And one thing I failed to mention here. So if you have these checkbox fields, instead of keeping them as checkboxes, delete the checkboxes and add actual text fields in their place. So what do I mean by that? If I go to PDF Filler and open up this document, okay, and I'll click on this green button here on the top right, which puts me in edit mode. These fields are actually text fields. So the reason for that is Zapier cannot really figure out how to, it doesn't have the logic as far as I know, at least, to actually check those fields. So what we do is we actually do the automation, the logic inside of Automate before sending the information. Basically, we have one automation that is going to send the PDF file, but before it does, so we have our trigger survey submitted. Before it sends it, we needed to go through that logic and tell the application which of these fields does it need to put an X in. So we have our survey submitted trigger, and we need to add a filter here to say which survey exactly. So I have 3 surveys. It is always good practice to name everything and save as frequently as you can. So our first action here will be if else, and we'll find our fields. Do I still have it copied? I do. Have permits already been obtained? So we have 2 branches here. They either said yes or they said no. After the survey is submitted, the system can check which one they picked. And I can name those branches yes, and no. And the condition itself, I can name have permits already been obtained. And we also have a third option, and that is if they didn't select anything. So if that field is not required, let me go back to the surveys. If that field is not required, like it is not now, then they can skip it. So we can make the first name and last name required, but this last field can be up to the individual filling out the form, whether they fill it out or not. So we also need one more thing here. Let me quickly save these changes and go to the custom fields. And we put that field into general info, but it is always good practice to actually create a new folder. And we can name the folder, PDF file name. And actually grab this field from here. Have permits already been obtained, and move it to that new folder. Because if you have one field, it's not an issue to keep it into general info or contact information or additional info. But if you have 50 fields, then obviously having them in different folders is better for you, easier to find what you need, and better for the system as well. It makes it a lot quicker. Okay, so in here we'll add two more fields. There will be single line, and we'll name them have permits already been obtained, yes, and have permits already been obtained, no. And now we can go back to the automation. And if they said yes, then we need to update contact fields. And just put an X mark in it, just the letter X. Now we can copy this, copy it here, and we need to change the field name here. This will be the no field. And the last step we need to do is actually send the information to Zapier. So we'll create a new Zap, a really simple Zap, just a webhook. So webhooks by Zapier, choose an event, catch hook, continue, continue. And now Zapier is going to give us a webhook that we can use. We need to copy it, go back to automate, and simply put it in here. And now this is going to work if they said yes, but we also need to either put the webhook in here, or add a go-to action like this, and also one go-to action over here. Because if they said nothing, we still want the rest of the file to be filled out. Now we publish our workflow, and Zapier is currently waiting for a submission of some sort. It needs one submission, one test submission, if you want to call it that, in order to give us the fields and let us map them. So our trigger is survey submitted. All we need to do is go back to the survey and submit an entry. Integrate, preview, and I can use my information in here. Have permits already been obtained. I'm gonna say yes. And there we go. So now Zapier should actually have gotten this. Still couldn't find the request. It might take a couple of seconds for it to show up on this end. I'll pause the video so that we don't waste time and come back to it when we actually have the webhook in Zapier. Okay, so this took like half a minute more, and there we go. We got our webhook. Now we just need to click on continue. Our second action will be PDF filler. So we click on PDF filler here, and our action will be create fields document. Continue. Then we hit continue again. And now we just need to select our document. It will always show you the last uploaded document. And you also need to select the folder. This will be the tutorial folder, I believe. Let me just go back to PDF filler and check this. Yes, okay. And once we have these two selected, Zapier is giving us the actual fields from the file. So what we need to do now is first name the actual file, and we can grab the name from the contact who submitted the form. So I can use the first name and the last name right here. And let's open up the file again. Also, one thing that's important to mention is, as you can see, these fields are named appropriately. So this text field is named proposed effective date, agency, proposed expiration date, agency. So if your text fields are named something like text underscore to text underscore 27, it will be really hard for you to map the information. So before you upload the file, the PDF file to PDF filler, if you have Adobe Acrobat, or you can even do the changes in here in PDF filler in the edit mode, but in some way use some sort of a PDF editor to name the fields appropriately. So this one will be, for example, individual, this one will be partnership, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we have our agency field, for which we'll actually use the location name. So let's try to find the location name. There we go. Example account. So essentially we're picking up this name up here. And now we need the actual name of the person. This field is first name insured and other named insureds. Okay, so that's why it's a multi-line field. First name insureds and other named insureds. Okay, so right now we just have one. And we also said we'll fill out the phone fields. This one is named insured. There's a typo in here, but insured phone, no extension. I'll just use Control F and make the same typo to find it. There we go. And we'll map the phone to it. And now the last field, the last two fields actually, have permits already been obtained. We need to search for this. And here we have our, because they're text fields, they show up like this, and we can fill data inside of them. So the no check will be the field for no. And the yes check, which we clicked on the survey submission we just did, will be the field yes. So you can see how Zapier is displaying the X here because Automate put that X into the field. And this field up here is actually the radio field that we created, but we don't need this one. So we select the yes field. And this is everything that we need for this example, right? Okay, so what we need to do now after we're done with the mapping is scroll to the bottom, and in your case you'll be mapping all of these fields and hit continue, then test the action. Okay, and now after the test we should have a new file in our PDF filler folder. So there we go. Zapier just created a test file here to show us that it is working, and we can publish this up. We can also name it. Well, let me close these. Something like 1 point survey submitted, create file. Okay, go back. Now we need to create a second zap here, and this will be our last one. The trigger for this zap is going to be new PDF file was created. So a new document was created. We hit continue, continue. In here you have to connect your account, of course. Now the trigger will be all documents, and the folder will be our tutorial folder. So a new document was created in the tutorial folder by the first zap that we just built, and this will be the trigger for the second zap. So we'll test that trigger. It will look for documents in the folder. It found some documents. We hit continue, and over here what we want to do is search for PDF filler again, and now we need to download the document the first action, the first trigger actually found. So we'll hit continue, continue, and in here we need the document ID, document name. This picks up the blank PDF example, basically this document here, so it is just displaying that name for us. Continue, test action, that's taking a while for all. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it found the document, and we actually need to, before we publish this, we need one more action, and this can be a Gmail action. Event, send email, continue. We need to choose an account here, so let me find my account. There we go. Continue. And who do we want it to be sent to? This document, this filled out PDF file. I'll just write my email in here. You can also send it to multiple emails. You can CC, blind CC people, up to you. From name, this can be Automate365. Example. Subject line, new survey submission, and we can display the name of the person or the name of the document, since the name of the document will be the name of the actual person. This is how we mapped it in the first app. And the body type can be plain. Now in here we actually need to search for the file. This will be in the under second action, download document in PDF filler. File exists but not shown. This will send a link to the file, and we also want to do the same thing with the actual file, so attach it to the email. Here is a link to the file. And this is it. We just need to hit continue. Test action. This should send the actual file to my inbox. And then publish. Now, once you have those two zaps published, this will be the second zap, 2 send file to email. Once you have those two published, and you have the automate workflow functioning and published. So right here we have our new PDF survey submitted. What you can do is simply grab the link to the form and use it to fill out this PDF file that you have mapped through Zapier and through PDF Filler. So right now the process is going to be functioning. The first time you publish the zaps, it might take half an hour or more for them to actually start working properly. This sometimes happens with Zapier. I don't know why. But on the second day or a couple of hours later, it should be fine. Now we can actually create something like this. So let me just quickly show you how to do that. We have our survey here, and we can easily, send the link to people to actually, click on and fill out the form, but it doesn't look too nice, right? I mean, it definitely doesn't. So what you can do is simply go to funnels, create a simple landing page. We don't need to create a whole website for this. We can just create a one-pager. Click on new funnel and go to from templates. So you can hit continue on this. And in here, we have a lot of templates to pick from. So if we select one of these templates, let's go with this one. Doesn't matter what it is, we can change the text and the colors easily. Hit continue. Now just reload the page. There we go. Go to key locksmiths. Here I'll click on edit in new tab. The disadvantages of using a VPN, guys. Wait for it for a couple of years. Once it loads up, we'll simply make a few changes and add the survey to this landing page. Maybe I didn't wait long enough because we just selected this template and the system might still be creating the actual templates. Let me reload this page. There we go. Yeah, I should have waited a few seconds longer. Okay, so what we can do now is remove this guy and in his place add a survey. Example PDF filler process. There we go. I don't like how this looks, so we'll just use some custom codes to make it look a bit better. Let me pause the video for a second. Okay, I'm back, and let's change that survey a bit. So we go to our survey, and I'll put this custom code in the video description so that you guys can use it. But basically, once we put this in here, we can change the colors a bit. and also add some sort of a border. So I'll change this as well. And let's use the actual colors that are in here, though I think the orange color is going to work fine for now. In any case, let's make sure it's the right orange. Copy this. This is just an extension that lets you grab colors. And we'll replace this orange color with this one. And we can also put a border on the actual survey. Let me see where the borders were. Ah, there we go. Change this. And the corner radius can be 10. Border can be dotted and a bit thick. Oh, hold on, line. Line is better. 2 pixels. And we can increase that to 20. Okay, save survey. And now, if we reload the page here, there we go. It looks much better. Okay, and that's it. You can give this link, not this link, but this link here. You can send this link to people. You can make a Google ad or a Facebook ad with this link and have people come to this landing page and fill out your form. After they do, you get the PDF file to your inbox. So obviously this is a very small form. It can be a 10-page survey instead of that. That is completely up to you. Okay, so that's it. I'll put this survey code for the styling in the description so that you can use it. And if you have any other issues, any other problems setting this thing up, just contact your account manager. We have your back. So if you have any questions, just reach out to us. Thanks.